Hi, we're here at Library Alert again, and we're interviewing a person that has served the country for many years. And we just hope that this helps you to understand and realize the service that these individuals have given our country and to be thankful and proud of our members in our community. First of all, can you tell us your name and what your rank was?
My name is Paul Desrosiers, and my last rank within the Canadian Armed Forces was as a Master Warrant Officer.
And how many years did you serve in the service?
36 plus years.
And what branch of service were you in?
I was with the Royal Canadian Electrical Mechanical Engineers.
Okay, and that's within the Army, I believe?
Yes, that is within the Army.
Okay. Would you care to tell us any of the places that you've gone?
Yes, I'll start right at the top. Recruit training took place in Cornwallis, Nova Scotia, and then from there on I went to Borden, Ontario, and where I did a bit of trades training. I didn't need the entire trades training because prior to this I had been at Red River Community College and completed a 10-month course as a vehicle mechanic. So I was kind of streamlined going through Borden, Ontario, the training school. From there on in, I was selected to go to Calgary, Alberta, where I served with the service battalion there, one service battalion. And then while I was in Calgary, I had heard that there was opportunities to go over to Egypt to go and support a UN tour, so I applied for that. And so within the 3 years of being in Calgary, I also went and served in Egypt with the United Nations. Something I should add is that I was married prior to joining the service. So consequently, in that time that I went to Egypt, I left my wife behind. And but a nice thing happened is while I was in Egypt, I had the opportunity to bring my wife over to Germany, and we met there for a 2-week period. We really liked Germany an awful lot, so upon returning my 6-month tour in Egypt, I ended up applying to go posted to Germany at the time, and it wasn't long before I was packing our bags, and we were heading off to be posted with 4th Combat Engineer Regiment in Germany. And lo and behold, by then we had 2 children, and my wife came along as well. And this is where we ended up spending 4 years. And something that I should add is during 1980 to 84, that fell within the time frame that what is regarded as the Cold War. And I'll elaborate a little bit further on that. Upon completing my tour in 84, ended up being posted to Portage la Prairie, Manitoba, where I was assisting with supporting training operations for pilots. My job was to maintain runways and fire trucks and so on that support the flight operations. And then what ended up happening is wasn't long before that I was ready to be promoted again, and so there was an opening to go to either Toronto or Hamilton, and I selected Hamilton, so I spent 4 years in Hamilton. My family came along as well, and then I finished off the eastern portion of my career with 1 year in Toronto. From Toronto, I ended up getting posted back close to home. I ended up going to work for the infantry, 2PP CLI, who was established in Winnipeg. So that was my first big tour with an Army unit, and I must add that this was the better of my total tours within the military. From the infantry, I ended up going to work to 1 Canadian Air Division. I did 4 years as a staff officer, and then finally I had to move once again, and then I ended up going to 38 Brigade Headquarters in another staff position, which was to support Army Reserves. And then from there, that point on, I took my release from the service after a total of 36 years.
Wonderful. Would you care to share any memories with us about the time that you served?
Yeah, I guess one could sum my career within the military as being a very fast and furious type of career. I must add that I was married prior to being in the service, and I wanted to provide for my family, and I just couldn't sit and do nothing. So I knew I had to try real hard, and that's what happened. And I guess I only had 3 years in the service. I had never stepped foot out of the country, and I spent 4 years in Germany. And like I said, I was going to get back to this. That was the time of what was regarded as the Cold War. And I did a little bit of history check recently on that, and a lot of people figured, oh, you were in Germany and all you did is take it easy over there. No, that is not the case. The Cold War, it was established in 1948, or close by, and it finally finished when the wall came down. And if I'm not mistaken, that was 1993. And things were extremely tense then because after the Second World War, there was a nuclear arms race. And what occurred there is that who was going to win to be able to launch into outer space and then pretty well have control of the whole world. Of course, the Russians were the first to have a successful launch, but it wasn't long thereafter that the U.S., our ally, was able to really put things together, and that really changed an awful lot. Having said that, while we were in Germany at the time, everybody was on their toes, in a manner of speaking, to make sure that we kept everybody honest. So that was the biggest trying time in my career. A lot of sleepless nights, and a lot of time being on maneuvers. And I'll give you an example. When my wife and I and 2 kids at the time ended up deploying to Germany, we hit the ground with and I had about 5 days. I had to leave my family, and my wife had never been in Germany before, and so consequently, she had to make do with the help of numerous neighbors, and that's the way things were over there.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your memories with us. I hope that everybody can appreciate the service that Paul has done for our country and our community. Thank you.
You're welcome. How does it look?